Here, good morning and welcome to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to demonstrate a roadmap to become a data engineer in 2024, because nowadays everyone are talking about data engineer. Gone are those days where people are talking about data scientist. Now it's time for data engineer, and now in today's video I'm going to demonstrate two roadmap. One is a long-term roadmap, another is a short-term roadmap. So if you follow long-term roadmap, then definitely you would be able to crack any kind of interview, whether it be startup or MNC or product-based company, service-based company, any company you can crack it easily. But if you follow short-term roadmap, then it would be difficult to crack some of the top MNCs companies, but definitely you can crack product-based companies because they are not looking for more skill set. They are just looking for a lesser skill set with strong proficiency. Okay, so see, if you follow a long-term roadmap, then why I'm saying that you would be clear, you can clear all the interviews because you will be having more skill sets. So whenever you apply for a job on Naukri portal, Indeed or any LinkedIn, anywhere, so the first round is a screening round. Okay, so from your resume, the bot HR will not look into your this resume or CV. So the bot, they have bot. Okay, so the bot will fetch the keywords from your resume and it will match with the job description. So if it matches with the job description, then you will be shortlisted for the first round. If let's say the job description, in job description they have mentioned several skills, okay, like candidates should be proficient in big data technology like Hadoop, ETL tool, okay, like Apache Airflow, Kafka, all these programming language like Python, Scala, but you have mentioned Java, HTML, CSS, then definitely you will not clear the first round screening round. So according to the job description, you should prepare your resume, right? Don't make one resume and apply in all the companies. Instead, just see the job description, what they have mentioned, what skill set they have mentioned, and put that keywords in your resume as well. If you know that technology, if you don't know, let's say you don't know Apache Airflow, but you have mentioned in your resume, then that doesn't work, right? Because in the interview definitely they're gonna ask that question related to Apache Airflow. So don't mention any technology which you are not aware of, but if you are aware of, then definitely you should mention that based on the job description. Then definitely you will clear the screening round, right? So I'm going to demonstrate two roadmap. Okay, first let's talk about the shortcut roadmap, then we'll talk about the long roadmap, right? So in order to become a data engineer, you should be proficient in any programming language. First we'll talk about the programming language, right? So we know there are a lot of programming language which we can use in data engineering, like we have Python, Scala, Java and JavaScript as well. So there are a lot of languages which we can use in data engineering field, but out of all the programming languages, I would suggest just go with Python programming. Why Python? You all know why Python. Python is, see, if I compare with other programming language, Python is definitely easy programming language, but not just is easy, that is why we prefer Python. Python provides a lot of libraries which other programming language doesn't provides, right? So due to this feature, we use Python. It makes our life easier. It provides tons of libraries and frameworks which makes our life easier. So these libraries can be useful in data engineering, data scientist, in almost all the fields. So that's the reason I would suggest go with Python language, and also it has less number of codes compared to any other programming language. We know if I compare Python with let's say C++ or Java, there in C++ we have to mention header file and all, we have to write semicolon, we have to write main function and all, but in Python these things are not mandatory. We don't need to specify data type and all, so we are skipping these things. That's the reason maybe we have to write less number of code compared with other programming language. So if you have less number of code, you can debug easily, right? So that's the reason I would suggest go with Python programming language, but it's up to you. If you want to go with Java, then definitely you can go with the Java or Scala, right? So the very first thing is you should be proficient in any of the programming language. It's up to you guys which programming language you prefer, right? Second thing, coming to database, right? So in database, we know we have relational database and non-relational database as well. So now I'm talking about the shortcut method, right? Shortcut roadmap. So I'll suggest only focus on relational database. Don't focus on non-relational database, because this is shortcut method and you will definitely get a job. It doesn't mean that you will not get a job if you follow shortcut method. You will definitely get a job, but not in all the companies, right? Because you know, service-based company, they are looking a candidate would be an all-rounder, like he or she knows everything, but it can't be possible. Like a single man can't learn anything. So if you apply for a product-based company, then they are not looking for much skills. So don't worry guys, if you follow the shortcut roadmap, then also you will get good jobs, right? Okay, fine. Now let's come back to the topic. One database. In database we have relational database and non-relational database. So just focus on relational database. Don't see that okay, your friend is learning MongoDB, then you will also start MongoDB. Your friend started learning any other databases, you also started learning any other database. Relational as well. In relational as well, we have a lot of databases, like we have Oracle, MySQL, right? SQL Server. So I would recommend just go with anyone. You don't need to learn all the relational databases, just go with anyone. And if you ask me, then I would suggest go with MySQL, because it is the most popular relational database and almost all the company they are using this one. Recently most of the company they are switching to PostgreSQL, but I would suggest don't go with PostgreSQL. See, these any skills, it comprises of programming language, databases, ETL tools, any skills, right? You can't learn all the skills. See, all the companies, different companies, they are using different technology, right? If one company is using Apache Airflow, then maybe another company they are using Apache NiFi, right? Another company they might be using Informatica. So you can't learn all these three things, right? So it's better stick with any one technology, but you should be good in that technology, right? Don't go here and there. If your friend is learning any technology, then you don't start learning that thing. Just focus on one, stick to one only, right? So one programming language, anyone, it's up to you. I suggest Python. One database, only relational. Don't go with non-relational. You can learn later when you get hired in any of the company. If they are using non-relational, then definitely you will also start working on non-relational database, but don't start if you are a fresher. By the way, this roadmap is for freshers, right? Now MySQL database, right? Just become a pro in MySQL. I'll tell you what things you need to learn in MySQL in the next video, not in this video. You can find out on Google itself that which topics that I needs to cover, right, in SQL or in Python, in any other, right? So just try to learn these things. If you want to make a video like which topics we need to cover in programming language or databases, then I can make a video, but this video is just a roadmap that which technology you should learn, so I'll cover those only, right? So I covered one programming language, one database. Now in 2024, almost all the company they are migrating data from on-premise to cloud, right? Everybody knows this one. So definitely you should be also familiar with any of the cloud. Everybody knows AWS is the king of cloud, but gone are those days. Now almost all the companies they have splitted, they started using Microsoft Azure, GCP as well. Like it's up to you which cloud technology you start working on. I have worked on GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and now I'm working on Microsoft Azure. So if you ask me which one is better, so see, it totally depends on it depends on various factors like the pricing and the UI and all, everything, it depends. For example, let's say I used Google BigQuery in GCP, and also I used this for analytics. I'm using Synapse Analytics here. As a data warehouse, I also have used Snowflake. So it depends on various factors like cost optimization, performance, like which one is better. So I would suggest I can't suggest that which cloud technology you should start learning, but see, GCP UI is the easiest one, so I would suggest start with GCP, or it's better to start with Microsoft Azure, because if you start with AWS now, what will happen? So you have to see, certain services are free of cost, but some services which are not free, so you have to end up with a lot of charges. So that I don't want, that as a fresher you should invest any amount. You can learn everything at free of cost, because I can understand as a fresher you don't have much budget, right? So in AWS, if you will go with the learning ETL tool inside AWS, then you have to pay for it, so don't go with AWS, right? Now coming to GCP and Azure, then you can start learning either GCP or Azure, but my recommendation is just start with Microsoft Azure, because you don't have to pay a single rupee for any of the services. You can use any services for free of cost for 1 month, and some of the services are free for 12 months as well. So you can start with Microsoft Azure, and its UI is also pretty much easier, right? And definitely you will like Microsoft Azure. Now you covered programming language, you covered database, you covered a cloud technology as well. Now the fourth thing, you should be familiar with any ETL tool or orchestration tool, anyone, either ETL or orchestration tool. So if I talk about ETL or orchestration tool, then we have Informatica, then we have Talend, Pentaho, but these ETL tool are no longer used. I mean, the older company, which are a big giant company, they are using these tools, but nowadays the newly startup which is started just now, let's say 5 years or 10 years ago, they are not using these tools anymore. What they are using? They are using Apache Airflow, Apache NiFi, Cloud Composer, right? So Apache Kafka, and if I talk about in Microsoft Azure, they are using this one, IoT Hub, Event Hub. These technology you can learn instead of learning Informatica, Talend, Pentaho and all. So just any orchestration tool or any ETL tool you should be familiar with, right? So these are the 4 skills that you should have, you need to become a data engineer, and this is the shortcut roadmap to become a data engineer. And once you familiarized with all these 4 skill set, you can start apply for job on naukri.com or LinkedIn in a startup. And unfortunately some of the MNC will look for other skills as well, like you should be familiar with DevOps, CI/CD tools, Linux, big data technology like Spark, right? So these sort of things they might ask. So in those companies there is a high chance that you will not get selected. So don't worry guys, even there are a lot of startups, they are looking just these 4 technology only: programming language, one cloud, ETL tool, database, right? There are a lot of jobs which are available based on these skill set. Even I cracked data engineer job when I had only these 4 skill set. That's the reason I mentioned this skill set. As a freshers, I can understand no freshers can easily understand big data technology. He or she can learn big data, he or she can work on big data, right? Because they don't have that platform where they can practice. If, they can enroll in a good course, but they can't do any hands-on. I can understand this. Even some of the company, they are also understanding these things. That's the reason they are only looking for these 4 skill sets that I mentioned earlier, right? So just focus on only these 4 skill sets and definitely you will get a job. Just guys, believe in yourself and you will crack a job definitely, right? So now let's talk about the long term, this roadmap. So definitely first thing is your foundational knowledge, right? So in foundational knowledge, we have data fundamentals, where you need to ensure a solid understanding of data concepts, including data types, data structure, different file formats, right? So these things you should be aware of. Second thing is your database fundamentals, right? So become a master in SQL for querying and manipulating relational databases. Familiarize yourself with NoSQL database like MongoDB, Cassandra, DynamoDB, right? So this is the long-term roadmap, where you should be familiar with NoSQL databases as well, right? Like MongoDB, Cassandra and DynamoDB. Then comes programming language, so proficient in Python or Java or Scala, right? So any one programming language, not all. Similarly, any one NoSQL databases like MongoDB, Cassandra, DynamoDB, anyone, right? Some Linux basic as well, so learn basic of Linux command and shell scripting for working with command line tools and managing servers. So you should be familiar with Linux basics as well. Now you should be familiar with big data technology. In big data technology, like for example, you need to aware of Hadoop ecosystem, so gain some expertise in a Hadoop components like HDFS, MapReduce, Hive, Pig, Spark, right? You should also be familiar in Spark, so deepen your understanding of Apache Spark for in-memory data computation, right? Then you should be also aware of streaming technology, like streaming means live data. So data engineer, they works on both batch data and live data. So if you follow this approach, this long term, and this will take almost 6 months. Shortcut method will take almost roughly around 3 months, but this will take 6 months. But you can crack any kind of interview, any kind, be it MNC, startup or anyone, right? So just familiar with any streaming technology like Apache Kafka, Apache Flink, Spark streaming, right? And one cloud platform, so familiarize yourself with any cloud platform like AWS, Google Cloud Platform and Microsoft Azure. Then you should be aware of data pipeline development, either ETL tool or orchestration tool. So Apache NiFi is there, Talend is there, Informatica is there, Apache Airflow is there, so Uzi is there. So anyone, okay, anyone, learn anyone. Then comes data modeling and data warehousing. So understand data modeling and concepts including relational, dimensional and NoSQL data modeling techniques. Data warehouse, if you don't know guys, because you are fresher, I'm assuming you are fresher. So Snowflake, nowadays it's trending. So almost all the companies, they are preferring Snowflake as their data warehouse, but there are other databases as well like Amazon Redshift, Google BigQuery. So just familiar with any one data warehouse, because at the end, as a data engineer, after processing the data, you have to store it anywhere. So generally we store in a data warehouse. So though data warehouse can be Amazon Redshift or Google BigQuery or Snowflake, anywhere you can store it. And if you use Microsoft Azure, then you can store in ADLS Gen 2, Azure Data Lake Generation 2, or if you are using Databricks, definitely you should learn Databricks. Then you can store in Delta Table as well. So it's up to you guys, but learn any one, not all. Okay, I'm giving you multiple options, but just pick any one. Then you should be familiar with version control and collaboration. So Git is mandatory guys, Git is mandatory. So master version control using Git for managing code based changes, collaborating with teams and tracking project history, right? Then you should be familiar with the DevOps practices. So in DevOps we have infrastructure as a code, that is IAC. So learn tools like Terraform or AWS Cloud Formation for automating infrastructure provisioning and management. So see, whatever resources we are creating inside any of the clouds, let's talk about Microsoft Azure. So if you want to create any resources, let's say you created Azure Data Factory. So usually we create via graphical user interface, or if you want to create Azure Databricks, then you will create via graphical user interface. So instead of creating all the resources using graphical user interface, what we can do, we can use infrastructure as a code like Terraform. So we can write a code and we can create n number of resources with just a single file. In only single file we can create n number of resources, and at the same time we can delete n number of resources. But if you use graphical user interface, if I ask you to delete Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, data lake storage, then one by one you have to delete it. There is no way to delete all at once using graphical user interface, but using Terraform we can delete all at once, which is faster, which saves our time. So that's the reason nowadays companies are preferring Terraform. So I would recommend just learn Terraform. And yeah, you should be familiar with the CI/CD, that is nothing but your continuous integration and continuous deployment. So understand the concept of CI/CD principles and tools like Jenkins, GitLab, right? And also you should be familiar with some machine learning basic, not proficient, because you are a data engineer, not data scientist, but basic you should be aware of. So just familiarize yourself with basic machine learning concepts and basic means just learn what are the types of machine learning. Like we have supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, reinforcement machine learning. In supervised also we have regression and classification. In regression also we have linear regression, then we have multiple regression, polynomial regression, then we have naive Bayes and all. So those sort of algorithm you should be aware. Just the basic, guys, just basic. Don't become a pro in machine learning because you are a data engineer, but basic you should be aware of. And some basic BI tools, like you should be aware of basic reporting and dashboard. So just pick anyone out of Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, Google what that called, Google Lookup Studio, ClickView, ClickSense. So out of all these, pick anyone. I would recommend go with Power BI, right? And at the end you should be have good soft skills. Soft skills consist of your communication and problem solving. So try to develop strong communication skills to collaborate effectively with cross-functional teams and stakeholders, right? So your communication should be very good and you should be a good problem solver. So try to become a good problem solver. How you can become a good problem solver? So just try to start practicing aptitude questions. So what happens when you solve aptitude questions? So you started solving the problem, just try to use HackerRank, Lead Code. Try to code there. They will give you a problem and you will think that okay, this is the problem, how can I solve this, what would be the approach? So then you can enhance your problem solving skills, right? Definitely you should learn Databricks, which is a most popular tool nowadays for data engineers. So you should learn Databricks. So this was your long term, which eventually will take almost roughly around 6 months. But believe me guys, if you invest 6 months for yourself, then at the end you will land in a very good job. You can definitely crack 15 to 20 LPA as a fresher. If you know all these technology, whatever I have mentioned, if you follow the long-term roadmap, if you follow the short-term roadmap, then as a fresher definitely you can grab around 6 to 8 LPA. Definitely you can crack it, guys. Just believe in yourself, invest your time. Don't for 3 months and for 6 months don't use social media. Just stay away from social media, focus on your study. And if I talk about the resources, there are tons of resources which are available free of cost on YouTube channel. And if you don't like YouTube, then you can enroll on Udemy as well, which will cost you only $500, not more than that. And if you don't have that 500 rupees as well, then you can go with the YouTube channel. There are a lot of YouTube channel who provides good teaching. My channel, you can go with my channel as well. I have uploaded MySQL playlist, I have uploaded Microsoft Azure playlist, and also uploaded Python playlist. You can go with any other tutorials as well. It doesn't mean that you can see my videos. There are a lot of videos. It's up to you guys, which you like, okay, which teacher can explain you well, right? So it totally depends on you. But these skill set, whatever I mentioned in this video, just become pro in this, right? So there are multiple options. Let's say for example, multiple options for programming languages. Don't go for multiple, stick with anyone. Similarly with databases, any one you should learn. Similarly with ETL tools, any one ETL tool you should learn, not all the tools, right? So I hope this was clear, the entire roadmap, shortcut and the long cut as well. So prepare well guys, and do let me know in the comment section when you get a good job, right? Best of luck guys. Thank you. See you in the next video.